Welcome to the Matchcast, the match fishing podcast with me, Jake Fowles, my co-host Rich Chapman, and today's star guest, Des Shipp. So, starting with this weekend's results, where have you been? What have you been up to?
I've been down to Stafford Moor, Jake. Lovely Stafford Moor. I mean, seen a massive transformation down there since Joe and Paul have taken it on. It's absolutely beautiful, to be honest. It's not a sort of fishing complex. It's more like a golfing course.
Lovely. So all accommodation on site and everything?
Yeah, if you want to stay there, yeah. I didn't, because I went down. It's basically something called the Carp Maniac. So it's obviously all weights, carp. I went down Friday, drew a corner peg 10 on Tamar Lake, which is a nice peg, very snaggy. You've got a big overhanging tree 16 metres down to the right, which is a pain for me because I'm obviously right-handed, so you're fishing off your right knee.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a brilliant day. 250 some odd pound, mostly shallow. Nice. That was second behind Steve Ford's 480 odd pounds.
Yeah, so one of my teammates, Steve Ford, and he lost as
lost
many
20,
as he...
I think he said to me he lost 26 carp, so he should have had a ridiculous... 480 pounds a ridiculous weight anyway.
Well, he probably should have had 700 pounds.
Yeah. I don't think he's kicking himself too much after that performance. No. But yeah, had a great day. Amazing them fish down there, and average I would have thought £5 to £7, but fight unbelievable. Forget your 10, 11 olives. It was all 12, 14 olives.
Nice.
021 main lines, 017 or 019 bottoms. But great day. So that set me up for the Saturday. So the Friday was the practice match. Saturday was the actual qualifying day. I drew another nice peg. So I've had two nice pegs. I drew peg 5 on Oak Pool, which is like the newer carp lake, if you like. Smaller fish. I've never fished for carp on there before. I've only ever actually fished that lake in silverfish matches, but obviously you catch a lot of carp in between the silvers. And I love it there. It's probably the easiest qualifying day you've ever wanted. I've had £170. 90% of that was on top kit plus 2, feeding hard pellets and fishing with a hard 6mm on the hook. So that's the sort of qualifying days you want.
Laid back day.
Yeah, laid back day. Top three out of the 10 go through to the final, which is on the Sunday. So there's 18 qualified on Tamar Lake again on the Sunday, and I drew the peg. I just can't get out of this area in these qualifiers. Peg 14 on Tamar's, and it's unbelievable. It's feast or famine.
You didn't moan.
I come out of the shop pretty quick because Paul said at the draw, because they're lovely people, they try their hardest to, everybody to keep everybody happy. And Paul said, I don't want no moaning. And I actually apologised to him as I drew. And it struggled. I messed up a bit. There's two corners. But basically, the peg that I drew on the Friday, which is in the corner, in the opposite corner, peg 11, I thought both of them were in my section. And obviously you don't know, because where I drew on the Friday there was loads of fish there, but what seems to happen is once they've been caught in that area, they seem to drift back down the other end of the lake, because the wind's hacking down the other end of the lake anyway. And I went there thinking the two corner pegs were in me sections. They paid I think it was £1,000 for the winner, which was Lee Werrett, so well done to him. And they pay sections then, 3 sections. I think first in the section was £225 and second was £125
brilliant.
Which is brilliant, you know. But I messed up because one of these pegs, which I thought was in my section, wasn't. The peg I actually drew Friday was not in my section. So what I should have done, instead of stormed out of the shop, I should have looked at the section sheet and thought, right. And I could, to be honest, I started feeding corn halfway through the match, heavily, trying to get some carp and peg, which I couldn't. But I was catching Carasio, skimmers, not big skimmers, but 12, 14 ounce skimmers, one a chuck. And I sacked it off.
What was that do? How were you catching them?
Basically fishing, my plan of action was really to start off on the short with pellets. Yeah. Because you always, start like that, you could have a good run. Straight away, you sort of had a bad feeling. I was catching skimmers and roach. Never hooked a carp. No. Went out long. My plan of action was to feed pellets just 6 mils to start with, see what was about. I had some paste rigs set up, even though I'm not a paste angler. Paste was deadly down there. You could see it happening. People were foul looking, loads of fish. And I think we all know paste is a brilliant bait when that's happening. Yeah. I had all my pace rigs set up, and I thought, right, if I go out there and start fizzing, one, I can have, fish a big worm over the top. That was working well, just feeding pellets with no worms at all, just putting a big worm on the hook. You can fish big hooks, thick lines, thick elastics. And I caught 2 good carp, probably 8 or 9 pound a piece on worm. I thought, this is it now, just keep it steady. And I never hooked another carp long or short on the pole for the rest of the match. And I couldn't get any fish. It was so obvious, even the Friday and the Saturday, when there was carp in your peg, there was a bit of fizzing.
Yeah.
And you could still catch. I could not get any fizzing. And after sort of 2.5 hours, I had like all this corn there. And I started giving it big pouchfuls, like proper big pouchfuls of corn, like a specimen angler.
Yeah,
losing the plot a bit.
Yeah.
And I went out and I could get a bite of chuck off of skimmers and odd Carasio. And I sacked it off because I just couldn't get any carp in my peg. But then I looked back at the results and thought 60 odd pound was second in my section. I could never have won it unless I caught carp. But I kicked myself a bit, because that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, could have just done better. And you get a bite of chuck, but you just couldn't catch the right fish.
Yeah. But if you'd have looked at your board, you knew you could have fished for
I could have cancelled out peg 10 and
Yeah.
thought, right, I've got a chance here. Fished a different match in a way. I start off to try and hopefully there's loads of carp in the area and have a go, try and win it. But after an hour or two, you sort of had a feeling that it was you're never gonna win. You're never gonna ever, if they come down the edge late. And no, they didn't. I caught one down the edge and I caught 2 on a bomb, and one of them was, £2. But Steve Shaw was on peg 15, and it's like you could put a rope across the lake. You got peg 5 to peg 15, and everybody down that in the lake caught over £100, apart from one person, I think.
Yeah.
It's incredible. They just will not come into this area. It's so such a gutter.
Yeah.
But that's fishing.
There's so many venues like that, isn't there? Where
big carp, bigger
big
carp.
Moody fish.
Moody. But then, it could have been one of those days like it was on Friday. A bloke had 200 odd pound out of my peg on paste. But where I was, you could just see that area. There's lots of fish moving around. You feed, there was some fizzing, and I thought
it just wasn't like that on the day you
just
were there.
moved. It just moved with the wind. I think 3 days of wind bashing down into the low numbers and the high numbers. They just followed it, and that was it basically.
Yeah, but overall,
fantastic 3
days.
days fishing. Destroy your elastics.
Yeah.
Heavy hooks, heavy lines, feeding plenty of bait. That was a nice thing. I fed like 6 pints of pellets there on Friday. I probably fed 3 pints of pellets there, even though I was catching short.
So it's not a Jamie Hughes venue.
No, it's not tapping in. It wasn't the case of tapping in 4 pellets, and But it's very frustrating on the Saturday. They were crafty on Oak Lake. It's like they come into like balls of fish. There's nothing there, and all of a sudden there's like 10 in your peg.
Yeah.
And you have to be very careful how you fed. If you actually fed when there was fish in your peg, you had to hook one and feed like 15 pellets. There's Farmer Pickles just going on. You had to feed like 15 pellets and then go in and be patient. But as the fish started fading away, then you could feed on top your float and get off fish. So it was interesting fishing.
Yeah, it's not a venue I've been to, but I definitely want to
It's
get
awesome.
down there.
It is a fantastic place. You feel privileged just to be there because they have done like I said, they have done a massive amount of work.
Yeah, I've seen it over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Joanne posting on, and
if it was a bit closer to where I did, it's 2 hours for me to get there.
Yeah.
If it was closer, I'd be there a lot more often.
Yeah.
Be there every, it'd be your normal venue you go to.
Yeah.
Well, it seems to be like a few venues popping up like that it's just nice places to go.
We've
put
got,
a bit of effort
to be
into
fair,
it,
the Southwest, I think years ago, I remember all the guys up north used to say to me, Des, you don't realise how lucky you are where you live.
Yeah.
And I think over the last maybe 10 years or so, things have changed. If you look sort of Birmingham, north of Birmingham, Lindome, Herringbrook, lots of other venues that I probably never, not even heard of. Fantastic fishing,
and you're getting decent numbers.
Yeah, decent numbers.
Well,
And I think the venues down this area have gone not backwards, but they've certainly not gone to the next stage of like the F1's mixed fisheries.
Yeah.
Where now you've got Stafford, you've got Todburn Manor, Ivy House.
Yeah.
They've all gone down this smaller carp F1s, and the fishing is brilliant.
Boosts everything.
Yeah,
Like,
Todber's
Oh,
amazing.
the
in
weight's
it.
there.
It's
And then big turnouts
mental.
now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Selling out all
Exactly.
the time.
You've got people travelling from where I live, Bristol,
Yeah.
Gloucester, down to even like Southampton, even Paul Holland's travelling from London area.
Yeah,
you
from
know,
there as well.
hour and 45. Because the thing is, you can do what you want, you can feed what you want.
Yeah.
The only rule really is obviously hook size, barbless hooks, and £66 net limit. And it's,
Which you need a few of.
Yeah, you need a few of. Yeah.
Was it like £400 when it was
Yeah,
on the
well, I
match?
think I think
yeah.
that's what we're going to get to with the talking point this week. Is going to be about big weights. When does it get too much?
Serious,
So we're
yeah.
going to come to that with,
Okay.
with the talking point. For now, we'll move on to other results that have been going on over the last week. So Golden Reel at Woodland View. You were there, Rich?
Yeah,
How
we
did
went
that go?
down. I drew out of it, I think, straight away, according to what people
Well,
were
let
saying.
me make a decision on that. He's a
24 on high.
solid.
So gone and like stocked up on blue pellets and come out looking like a bloody Smurf at the end of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think when we drew on high, I don't think anyone really fancied the lake at all. It was first time I've been there, and it was a bit of a kind of got rigs out, and I think it's about probably 10
Yeah,
foot
it's
deep,
deep.
and you're like, didn't really have anything suited for it, so I've kind of tied a bit of extra line onto one of my rigs and
No,
done
well, a lot of prep done there.
yeah, standard prep. So yeah, I've not fished a good match. I'm not gonna like. I couldn't. I think you needed to catch him shallow if you're fishing out there, but there wasn't enough fish. There was the odd one that you could kind of swing at to mug. But I think Grant Albert, he was catching quite well, kind of across from us, but he was feeding caster and getting odd F1s. But Aid, who eventually won it, he was on peg 30.
So that was Aidan Mansfield.
Yeah, Aidan Mansfield. So he was down to my left. And like spoke to him after an hour and a half. He was like, he'd got nothing. I think got one or two carp sort of thing. And as he was on the phone to us, he said, "Oh, I've just seen one swirl down my edge," kind of. Because before the match,
Was that the end peg?
no, he
No.
wasn't. He was.
No.
I think he was a couple of pegs up from the end.
Right.
So like,
I think 31 or 32's end peg on there, was it?
so.
yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I don't think he was last angler sort of thing.
Right.
But yeah, he's seen one swirl down his edge when he was on the phone to me. And before he said, like, if you're going to do anything on here, it's going to be short and down your edge.
Yeah, maybe shallow.
Yeah, and he's pretty much just set that up. And then, like, spoke to him at the end of the match. He was like, yeah, it's just, like, been steady down the edge. I think he'd had 25 carp, I think it was.
Nice.
And that's gone £172, and he's won it. So
Fair
he's
play
had
to him.
Chris Cameron behind him on the other lake, and he'd gone for an extra net after about 3 hours, because I think he claimed he'd lost count, so I don't know whether he had or whether it was just putting himself down a bit on
So
that.
he weighed in with 150 pounds,
Yeah,
6 ounce, and came third, Chris Cameron.
Like every time I looked round, he seemed to have a fish on, sort of thing. But yeah, and then I think it was Simon Richardson who was third with 150. Second, with 153. So
Simon.
Simon Richardson.
I always said Christensen. I used to fish with him about 20 years ago at Moreland's Farm.
So,
He's back.
but yeah, I think it's fished all right in areas, and then
It's very difficult because I always find with like bait limits at Woodlands, it's very difficult because you've got to go there either with your, you draw the peg like where you were.
Yeah.
I bet you wish you could have gone there with a different bait.
Yeah, because you only allowed 3 bags of pellets as well.
And
which
yeah,
is
or you go there with your casters, and there's obviously bait limits.
Yeah.
And they're always very difficult to get right. Them
Yeah.
matches sometimes.
I think anywhere like that where it's quite strict, you've almost got
Just
to make
got
your
to
decision
commit, yeah.
beforehand, because
Yeah.
especially
Yeah,
if you
but
get
it's difficult because really sometimes if you draw a peg where you think you want that bait and you've taken the wrong bait,
Yeah,
I don't like that. It sort of bugs me a little bit, really.
Yeah, it's
Same
in a
but
lot of
that's
places,
the same
isn't
for
it?
everybody.
Yeah.
But it is annoying sometimes because
Yeah.
you want that. It'd be nice to have that 4 pints of casters in your bag just in case you think, well, this ain't happening
In the
today.
van and go, right, in fact, I'm going to my peg, I'm
Yeah.
going to take that rather
Yeah.
than that, but you kind of have to.
And that's
just
what I
go-
like about
got-
Todd Burt.
Yeah.
At the moment there's no restrictions.
Yeah.
And I know it's very unusual for venues to have that, but it's nice to have that.
Yeah,
that
just
other
in
bait in your
case.
bag, and you think, oh, this ain't happening today, and you can change.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's not many places where for physically feeding more bait, you wouldn't get an advantage. It's more just having the
Different-
options there,
different
isn't it?
baits.
That if you need
Yeah.
to change, you can
Yeah.
do. But Yeah, there's not many places that you're going to feed more than 8 pints of anything, really, is there? No. Commercial-wise.
Yeah.
Depends how the day's going.
Fill it in at the end.
Yeah. So, well done to Aidan Mansfield
Yeah,
there.
well done, Aidan.
Moving on to Maver matches at Hayfield Lakes. So, it was Sam Brown that won this, £92.50 an ounce from Adams 36.
That fish difficult, and really.
It has fished difficult for Hayfield. One thing I would say, Sam Brown has been so close over the last sort of probably 3 years. He's had so many seconds in these qualifiers.
Has he been in a final yet or not?
I don't think he's actually been in a final. I think he just keeps coming second.
So
or
I need to get in the draw
frame.
before him.
Exactly, yeah, keep taking his pegs up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty certain, £92.50, I'm pretty certain that was 9 fish.
Yeah, I was
So
going to say, it won't be
the
many
big fish at
yeah.
Hayfield. So it's one of them venues where you could kind of go, and like you said there with Aidan, he's sort of gone and he's not caught for a while. You're never out of it when it's only 9
them
fish.
matches, when you're fishing for £100 off of a commercial like that,
yeah.
I think they're the best matches.
Yeah.
Even though probably a good percentage of people will struggle to catch anything at all, because that's what happens when it fishes hard. But if you could sort of fill it in down the edge, you catch 5 or 6 fish during your first 4 hours, and you catch 6 down the edge, you're in the race.
Yeah.
When you're trying to catch £300, I think it's like a bit like winter fishing sometimes. You're out of it.
Yeah.
So them matches are the best matches, I think.
Well, the size of them at Hayfield now, I think, was it last year on the Maver where Jane was up the top end and he was just, like, no one's really noticed, he's just mugged the odd fit, like one fish an hour sort of thing, but they've all been well into double figures sort of thing. They're like, and suddenly you're there, it was 3rd or 4th.
I bet there's so many people kicking themselves after that match at the Maver. You know what I mean? Loads.
Perry Stone was second. The top 3 was separated by £1.12 ounce.
Yeah.
So when the big fish, and obviously the weight wasn't
one
massive.
Bite.
One bite's going to probably taken someone from
few
miles
rev
down.
limit-
There'll be a lot of people. I bet
There'll be a
they've
few
pulled
rev
out a one.
limiters going on the way home from that.
I would have thought so. And then, so moving on from Maver match this, well done to Sam Brown. Good luck in the final.
Well done, Sam.
Feeder Masters at Nichols Pit. So this Nichols Pit is so far in the southeast.
That's it.
It's
Kent.
past there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's down by Dover, isn't it?
Yeah, really far down. But it fished well. Stanislav Stanev won the match and qualified with £62. Nigel Franks was second in the match and qualified, so a different zone, £46 12 ounce. And the third qualifier was Sean Kelly from a harder section with £25 14 ounce.
There's something that I've tried. I've fished 2 of them now. Drawn absolutely useless on both of them. I better get that in. But it's something that I've started to get the bug for, to be honest. I want to try, especially when you look at Tamar.
Yeah.
And one of my qualifiers was on Tamar and it fished. But as soon as I drew, they said, look, they don't normally fish there because you've got to go on a boat.
Yeah.
And it was rock hard. Didn't do it right on the day. I probably could have caught a few more, but I'm not sure whether I'd caught enough. But when you look at the results from last week, it's
the nets of fish.
The
catching skimmers this size, but loads of them.
Yeah, I'm not sure. A lot of people say they're 2 or 3 ounces, but all the shots I've seen on
They're
Facebook,
4 or 5
they're
ounce.
bigger than that.
They're 4 or
A
5
lot of the
ounce.
skimmers look like 10 ounces, 12 ounces.
Some bigger ones, right?
Yeah, the shots I've seen.
Yeah, I know I've been and done a couple of features there, and the fish you catch are bigger fish,
Yeah.
10, 12 ounces. I've seen some of the catch shops, and they're catching lots of fish.
Yeah, it's something that I would love to qualify for.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get the bug for it.
Yeah.
The
good thing I found, I've done a few of them this year, and I've done a couple of feeder matches as well. The good thing I find is you can have your rod set up in your bag.
Simple.
And literally the night before, you're not doing anything.
The biggest problem I got is I just want to get my catapult out.
That's it. Safe.
Because if
you
you're
can't do what you've
if
done.
you're struggling, you know what I mean. I was at Pat's Hill Park last Sunday, or Saturday, can't remember which. And sat there, it was really difficult. There's a couple of people fishing like a real short feeder, catching a few bits and pieces. And I thought, well, I'm not gonna. And I didn't come here to do that. I come here to try and win my zone. Yeah. And it was obvious you needed some breamer or tench, or I did actually catch a carp, it didn't count, believe it or not. There's only
Do they not count it?
No, they don't count them. They don't.
There's only a little one, but they're like, there's only like 3 of these in here.
Is it like catching the only
my
one
day
F1?
That should mean that you do win it.
Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to pick a catapult up. I'm there, like, where's my catapult? I'm terrible.
Yeah.
But you could, at least it feels like you can make something happen. But
Yeah.
it's not, I'm afraid you're not, not able to do it.
But a lot of people like that. They can just work. I know at
Simple.
Capsule they filled it in at the start. A lot of them didn't they, and then just fished. And at some point, then
Yeah, on
turned up.
the deeps, on the boats, on
and that,
those
yeah.
barges they get on. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what I wanted to draw. Like during the shallows, I had £9.9. To be honest, I caught that. I messed up because I should have fished long immediately, and I think I should.
Like towards them trees opposite you.
No,
they
were miles away. I mean, you're
okay.
talking sort of 70 metres.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't in that sort of mood really. No. And I fished I started short and then went out to me long line, filled it in on the long line, but I shouldn't have. I think I should have gone straight long.
Yeah.
But you don't know it, but you learn for next time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, good event.
Yeah,
something that
to be a
I'm
brilliant
certainly starting to, in my mind, I wanted to get some tickets next year. I just try and, find someone who's got a ticket for sale at the moment.
Yeah.
Wait till someone qualifies and have all.
Yeah,
got
try and
left
nick their
over.
tickets, But yes, it's definitely a good event.
So the event that runs on the back of the Feeder Masters, the Feeder Masters Super League. This was at Carmel Dam.
St Helens.
In St Helens, which I keep forgetting. The team winners on the day were Pendle and Burnley, so a Lancashire team, so sort of that region, that way on.
Yeah.
Second, Dam Busters, and third were Three Counties.
So my team I fished for helped them qualify have blown out, haven't they? Which is mainline DSG or something, is it?
Yeah, DGG. So the three
DSG
teams,
is a gearbox, isn't it?
Yeah, the flappy paddle one.
That's the one.
So the three teams that have come first, second, and third at Carmel Dam are actually 7th, 11th, and 12th overall in the standings out of 15 teams.
Yeah.
The overall, Ringer Bates, which is Phil and Steve Ringer, Rob Wotton and Adam Wakelin, they've actually taken the lead off the back of it. They're now winning the league with 89 points. Sonia Bates Nomads 93 points. Mainline DGG. Darren Cox, Simon Fry,
Yeah, I got
Dean
chucked
Barlow.
out after I helped them qualify
They
at Barstow. They binned me
you
off. They said, "We'll bring you back in, Des," but they haven't even had a phone
Not
call.
even called, yeah. So they're currently sitting in third, and Preston Innovations Telford are in fourth with 99 points. There's one round to go, which is at Barston Lakes. So it's close. Currently,
Mega close,
Ringer
yeah.
Bates are winning it, and
Was it Ringers who won it last year as well, was it?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think they probably won it on the last round again. I think it'd be mega close. It's a great event again, isn't it? Feeder fishing, really easy to get involved. Don't need a lot of gear.
Yeah, it's popular. The
Takes me longer to put my box down and put my side trays on. It actually does to get me rods out and that.
they're all set up. You just take them out of your bag.
Yeah, job done.
Your hook lamps are already done.
Don't need a lot of bait either.
No.
So it's growing, isn't it? It's growing in
Yeah, it's
popularity.
Yeah.
It
Definitely.
depends on what part of the country. Around my area, sort of, we have got some fantastic venues, but they don't seem to have the amount of people like round the Birmingham area. They've got a lot of people in a smaller area.
Yeah.
We've got some great venues. We just haven't got that amount of people at the moment that want to do it.
I think with the Feeder Masters final being at, what do you say?
Upper Tamar.
At Tamar, I think like more people will get into it.
Yeah,
because
maybe.
That's not too far away as well.
Yeah, it'd be interesting what happens at Upper Tamar. I think, if you look at the results from last week, I think it'd be really interesting how they go and approach that.
Yeah.
Because I can't see them fishing any more than 20 metres.
No. It's going to be a speed match.
Yeah,
isn't
I
it?
think it will be. It's going to take someone with some bottle to go and fish like a pellet feeder or a method feeder for the bream. There's obviously bream and carp in there, but
Yeah, seeing if there's
if you're guaranteed 25 to 35 pound on a short feeder,
But saying that, some of the people that know that maybe they're not as quick as some of the others might take a
they
punt
might
and
take a
think,
chance.
Is there a
Yeah, I think
shortcut
they'll have
to a bigger
to.
weight?
Yeah, I think they'll have to do that.
I think it'd take a fool to sort of try and play some of these anglers at their own game if they're qualifying and that's not their game, if it is more chucked
I
weight.
think it'd be very, very difficult to beat the likes of Steve, Adam, Mickey Viles, who've all fished for the feeder team, Lee Kerry. I think it'd be very difficult for the average Sky, if you like, to beat them at their own game, speed fishing.
Yeah.
I think they'll have to go there and say, right, I'm gonna put a load of pellets and corn in and hemp and try and catch.
Find a shortcut to the
You
big
never
weight.
know.
Yeah.
I hope it happens because
Yeah.
it'd really open it up.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it had a new dimension.
I wish that's
to it,
what I'd
wouldn't it?
done when I went there, to be honest. I had a long line and just felt, right, I'm just going to put some bigger pellets in, a load of micros, a load of corn, a load of hemp, which is what a carp angler would probably do.
Yeah.
and left it, you know, put like 3 or 4 pints in.
Yeah.
Something that I should have done that on the day. I was kicking myself a bit.
Yeah.
But obviously at the time, the roach weren't feeding. When we went, the roach, you wouldn't have thought there was a roach in there.
Yeah.
But obviously, a month later, every roach in the complex is feeding.
Yeah. Oh, it's full of fish. It's a lovely venue. So, moving on from that, Ladies National.
Yeah, but
You didn't fish that, did you?
no, they didn't. Nathan Watson was trying to.
Was he?
No,
Yeah,
Oh, he'd have got
if
in.
he wore a skirt,
He would
was
have got in
allowed?
easily.
Not the best looking one though.
No.
But yeah, Herringbrook won it, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, Abby. Do you know what peg she drew?
I do. She was
it
on Meadow
on
Peg.
27?
27?
One of the
something
two.
like
But yeah, decent draw and obviously done the damage from it. So 86 kilos, I think
I
it
think
was.
she
How many ladies fished
that.
that?
58.
Oh, that's
I
a good
believe.
turnout.
Yeah, so so Abby's won it, 86 kilo 800, and booked herself a place in next year's Fishermania
Fishermania.
final for 2020, which I think obviously she wasn't particularly keen on the way that she qualified last year, but she was always going to take that opportunity. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I think this year it's a bit more of a. I agree with how they've picked a lady. If they were going to put a lady into the final and they wanted the diversity of having a lady, I think that the Ladies National was the way to do it because of the numbers that they get fishing that event.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's still that argument. The main qualifiers are open for everyone. If they were going to have a lady in that final, I think the Ladies National is the way
It's
to do it.
always difficult with any qualifiers, I think, because it comes down to timing. If you have loads and loads of different qualifiers, a lot of people can't do it because they obviously got different commitments.
Yeah,
So I think it's very difficult whichever way you do it.
yeah,
You're trying to keep everybody happy and it's impossible.
yeah.
Yeah, you can see both sides of it, can't you? That from like Sky and Matchroom that they want to make it obviously more
Appealing
open,
to everyone,
yeah,
yeah.
where you've
Yeah.
got females fishing it, you've got international aspect on it, which you can understand why people get frustrated, where you've been trying to qualify for years, putting in the miles, and then there's in inverted commas, the easy route in, but it kind of gets them in the final, and it
Yeah, it's
hopefully gets a
difficult.
bit of
It's a
publicity
difficult
for
one.
them.
I certainly wouldn't want to be sat around a table organising that sort of stuff.
No, yeah, you always get some comeback, don't you? Whatever you do, obviously we run events and you always get something. It doesn't always suit everybody. But
They keep trying to play about with it to, in their eyes, make it better. Like they tried the semi-final, which they've obviously admitted wasn't the best thing for it, and scrapped it off. So it's one of those where it's going to be.
they're trying, aren't they? So
But it's the only thing that gets that much money injected to it and puts angling in front of people that wouldn't see it, I guess, at the end of the day. So
yeah, so well done to Abby Kendall.
Yeah, well done, Abby.
Second on the day was Shannon Swallow, down south. She had 77 kilo 275, and third was Paige Wardle with 71 kilo 275.
nice.
So good weights.
Yeah,
It's a
brilliant.
brilliant venue, Herringbrook. But yeah, some really good weights there as well.
Never been there.
Have you not?
Never seen it. I've actually been past it.
Right.
I actually drove past it, but I've never actually fished it.
Oh, no.
Good fishing. It's
Yeah.
like, it's not.
I've heard lots about it.
Yeah, it's not the best looking venue in the world, but fishing wise, it's
Yeah,
like bang on.
brilliant.
Yeah. But yeah, I think at the same time they had the disabled national running as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
Which was on Island and Match Lake, and it was Elliot Fay who won it for the second time.
Well done, Elliot.
Match Lake 19 he was on, and I think he's just fished on the method all day, which
Oh, right up my
is
street.
nice
that.
little day. Because I think
He's
like,
obviously been watching a few YouTube channels.
but
I've heard he was watching the Andy Finley one.
Well, we're not all perfect, are we?
Only because he bashed me up the other day.
But yeah, I think he said there was fish down his edge, but he was just catching nice and steady on the method. Just sat on that all day, and I don't know what was second. Oh yeah, 37 kilo coming second.
So
He's at
he's
63.
quite comfortably
So-
won that. Elliot's a really good angler, obviously. He's already picked up a silver and a bronze individual medal at the Disabled World Championships. So he's obviously doing really well, and yeah, he's
Fair play.
won that event. The second time he's won the Disabled National.
Dominating.
Well, if he's about, he's just come and draw from me, Elliot.
Yeah, he's only a young lad as well, 24, 25, something
Yeah,
like
brilliant.
that. So yeah, he's doing well. Moving on, what have we got next?
Riverfest.
Riverfest. So this was
Oh,
on the Bristol
Newbridge.
Avon.
Yeah.
Newbridge
Newbridge to
begins with an S.
Salford.
Salford, that's the one. So three
Difficult.
qualifiers.
Difficult this time of year.
Yeah, last year it was one with about £100 a bream.
Yeah, I had Mark Downs phone me up actually. It was on Friday when I was at Stafford Moor, and he said, "Look, what do you reckon?" I said, "Well, you know, you're going to need a massive weight." And I said, "You'd never know with that. There's bream. I'm sure there's bream in every single peg on the Bristol Avon. In that part anyway."
Yeah.
And they just sit. I think they just sit mid-water.
A bit like the Gloucester.
They're not interested. Yeah. And also, I think they're big as well now.
Yeah.
You know, the average size is 5 to 8 pound.
Yeah.
And if they feed, it's brilliant.
Crazy like last year.
If they don't, you're
Like
talking probably 10, 15 pound, and it's probably a little bit too early yet for the roach to have a proper
Yeah,
go.
because I spoke to Lee Wright in the build-up to it, and I always associate the Bristol Avon as a bit of a ball it and fish it and catch what you can as quick as you can.
Yeah, it's moody. It's very moody.
You can catch a lot of small fish, and there was 3 qualifiers. Richie Tamar won the match, £18, 12 ounce, pole and caster.
Yeah.
So he's fished a nice match. He's caught some bonus, little chublets, roach, a few bonus fish on that. Ben Randall qualified. That was with £7.14.
Yeah.
That was in Lee Wright's section. He actually came second, £6.9 or something like that. So that was a tougher zone. And for £7.14, he's had 2 skimmers on the feed and then some small fish on the pole.
Yeah.
So it's been tough.
Oh yeah, well, it's but if that river, if we had a little bit of rain, the river was rising.
Yeah.
It'd have been a different ball game.
Yeah. The third qualifier, Darren Harper, £10.8. He had a last gasp £4 chub plus some
nice.
bits. Yeah, so that's helped him. But yeah, so that's
it's hard.
That's
It's
the
hard.
beauty of
Yeah,
the
it's
River
difficult.
Fest,
There's
isn't it?
loads and loads of. I went there last year. I fished for my old team. I fished for Thatchers, and I drew an absolute screamer. Well, a nice roach peg.
That's when they were trying to catch us up in the
That's it.
Super League,
Yeah.
wasn't it? But didn't manage it.
No,
Cold on.
they
Just
were-
had to drop that in.
Well, I did win my section, all I can say, and the river looked perfect that day, and I balled it, went out thinking it was just going to bury with roach, and you balled it, and it was like little tiny roach like that. And you think, oh, this will get better. It just got worse.
Does it? You usually get like an
It's
hour,
a
and a
weird.
half maximum.
It's a fantastic river. It's absolutely solid, but I'm not sure what goes on.
Something
But
happens.
sometimes they don't play
Just-
ball, and I think
just
if you
feed
had
when
some
they want
blubber and joker, I think
Yeah.
you would get a fish a chuck.
Yeah. Every time I fished it, I've got an hour and a half on it, and then you're like, if you don't take advantage, you're fishing for probably 75% of your weight in that first.
I'm sure the fish. It's like Evesham. You know, we fish the Evesham festival. I don't fish Evesham at all, apart from the festival.
Yeah.
And it just sums it up really that you can go there on the Saturday and Sunday. You can ball it, or you can cut your ground bait in. You fish like double pinky, and you get a couple of little roach.
Yeah.
And you go there on the Sunday.
Hook
On the
limit.
Monday. Or no, Sunday and Monday. You can put 12 baby heads in with joker in and catch £10 a roach.
Yeah,
And
they're there.
I'm sure the roach are sat in over your ground bait and they're watching the maggot and pinky go past like that, and they're like, no thanks.
No, that's not.
And they're
good,
just
right?
picking little bits off of the ground bait, little bits of hemp and things like that.
Yeah.
Very, very, crafty.
Yeah. They're there at the
Yeah,
fish
they're there,
for
and
all
they
year.
just don't feed.
Yeah.
I think some of the underwater footage that people have done, I think there's, it proves the point. Sometimes the fish are there. They just don't want to pick up your hook bait.
Yeah.
Is it going to
Very
be one of those
strange.
that if you went in the evening after a match or something, it'd just be
Yeah.
absolutely solid?
Yeah, I go down to Saltford pleasure fishing, which is like the bottom end, not the match where they had the River Fest below that, and the river is solid with dace.
Yeah.
But there's no dace at Newbridge. I think they must have spawned between the two weirs really well. I mean, you can literally chuck maggots in. It's like the old days, they're just
Start
swirling with the
boiling,
maggots. But at Newbridge and Saltford, or the bottom end of Saltford, there's no dace. It's ever so strange.
Yeah.
And you go like another half a mile downstream, and it's absolutely rigid
them.
with dace.
Is it more built up round there at all?
Yeah, it is actually.
Yeah, because who was it? It might have been something Martin Bowler was on about actually, where if you're in like built up town stretches, the cormorants aren't as comfortable.
Yeah, it's
they
built
kind of
up, but it's
don't-
not built up enough to
Yeah.
keep the cormorants off. I think it's just the same from Saltford all the way down to what you call Jackie White's, which is at Keynsham. It is black with dace, black with them.
Yeah, it's strange how that happens. Sometimes
Just
they
spawning, I think.
yeah.
I think they just spawn in certain
And
little
just stay
areas, and it's
comfortable
solid. There's
there.
loads of chub in the Bristol Avon. Newbridge,
there's tons of
loads of
chub.
little bomber chub. I went
Well,
there.
at the moment, like last year or so, there's been loads
Loads
of
of
them.
them. Hopefully they'll survive and they'll get to sort of a proper stamp.
If they all survive and they get big, it'll be absolutely amazing, won't it?
Then it'll go through a cycle, wouldn't it? You'll end up with like just the big ones left, and then it'll.
And if they built
die.
a road behind, so you could park your car, that'd be even better.
Yeah.
Just turn it into a
Yeah.
commercial.
Well, some sections you can drive like through a field, can't you?
Yeah.
You're there, but even that's a bit dodgy.
It is, yeah.
sometimes.
It's hard work to get your gear down there.
Yeah, definitely. But that concludes the this week in match fishing. We'll move on to Des's life
Oh my
in
God, that
fishing.
wouldn't take long.